If you're a freelancer with specialized expertise but struggling to get found by the direct clients who need you most, you're invisible where it matters. Generic SEO tactics won't cut it when pharma companies, clinical research firms, or other premium B2B clients are searching for your specific skills. Benas Leonavicius helps businesses 4x their organic traffic by targeting the exact search terms decision makers use when they're ready to hire. His approach combines deep market research to understand buyer behavior, strategic SEO outreach to build authority, and on-site optimization techniques to position you as the specialized expert, not just another freelancer. These aren't quick win tactics, they're sustainable, long-term strategies that build defensible market positions agencies cannot replicate. When you rank for the right keywords, you attract clients looking for premium expertise, not the cheapest option. Through his SEO frameworks, Benas shows freelancers how to become discoverable to direct clients actively searching for specialized services. If you're ready to stop competing on price and start attracting premium clients through strategic visibility, Benas has the roadmap. And welcome to another episode of Freelancer Training on how to find more direct clients, a podcast hosted by myself, Jason Willis-Lee. This is the show that makes digital marketing easier and more fun using the perfect combo and just the right dose of business strategy and tech. I'm your host, Jason Willis-Lee, digital marketing enthusiast, and today I'm very thrilled to welcome another special guest. His name is Benas Leonavicius. From Lithuania. Benas brings a unique perspective to our discussion from his niche. Benas, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, doing great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. So could you just tell us a little about your background, your business background, how you got to be doing what you're doing now? Could you just sort of take us on a transformative arc from your studies
Yeah,
and university?
uh, sure. So I actually, when I was in high school, I didn't know sort of, I knew that I wanted to kind of go into business, but I never knew sort of what specific sort of area should I study, what should I do. And this is where I kind of discovered marketing and it kind of really drew me in. That was like about 2012, 2013. And digital marketing was also like kind of taking off. So instead of just being interested in the usual marketing channels, I will kind of got very drawn into digital marketing. And through kind of trial and error of trying different things, because I've worked with various agencies, I've worked with various companies, I've tried social media marketing, email marketing, just kind of went through all of the different digital marketing stages, and eventually kind of landed and found by accident search engine optimization. And for some reason, it really stuck with me. I think that all other channels were very quick to end. For example, if you start a paid campaign and then you finish spending your money, that's it. It's kind of gone. I really enjoy the long-term effects of SEO, that you do something for a couple of months or for half a year, but the results kind of stay with you for a very long time. So I think that was the main sort of idea that kind of really stuck with me. And then I continued learning about SEO. And I've actually, I'm self-taught. There was no like courses or anything like that back then. I studied just usual business management at university. And I was trying to build my own websites. I got some very few small clients early in the days, and built up kind of my career in search engine optimization. And now, 10 years later, actually, it's quite hard to believe that it's been 10 years, but I've been doing SEO for the last 10 years. And right now, I'm making over six figures doing this, working with a handful of clients, and keeping on with the upcoming AI search changes that are coming
Could you
to the
talk?
SEO.
That's amazing. Could you talk about your business model a little bit? How do you get six figures from just, I think it's just 4 to 6 clients you said you work for. So
Yes. Yeah.
how do you sort of structure the business model? How does that revenue come in? And then could you talk a little about AI search? Because my website just hit page one of Google, which I thought is a
Mhm.
pretty good achievement, just organic posting and not doing any paid advertising at all. But these
Mhm.
days, it's more about getting on page one of AI search, appearing
Yeah.
in ChatGPT and Claude and Perplexity. How could you talk a little about your business model and how much emphasis you place on AI search with your clients rather than traditional on-page SEO?
Yeah, of course. So regarding the clients, I mean, I transitioned into full-time freelancing when I started working on Upwork, the freelancing platform. This is
Hmm.
what allowed me to actually go full-time, and then I kind of I was freelancing there for a couple of years, but eventually I found out that it's the best clients are not the ones that come from freelancing platforms, but the ones that kind of are not there. And my business model shifted to actually going into niche communities, courses, or anywhere where there's a kind of a close group of people. Where I can sort of insert myself, be helpful, comment, talk to people, and basically kind of do online networking per se. And this is what kind of exploded my whole business because I've met a lot of people this way. I kind of continue doing this. And half of my business is also built on referrals. So I work a lot with keynote speakers. This is kind of one of my main target clients that I work with. And they're very connected people. They're very extroverted people. They have a lot of connections, and they really like to talk about sort of things that they do, people that they work with, others. So I landed there by accident, but once I understood the power of referrals from those people, I really started paying more attention, and now. Whenever they see the good the results that I bring them, it's basically sometimes I don't even need to ask. The referrals kind of come in just my way because people are sharing the results that I achieved for them. So half of my business is built on referrals, and then half of my business is built on sort of being within that community, networking, talking to people, whatever that LinkedIn, Slack groups, or any other means. And then AI search. So this is still a new thing. So people are still kind of trying to figure out what works, what doesn't. However, since it's been out for a couple of years now, we do have uh, some things that we know that actually work, some things that are speculative, and then some things that are kind of being tested every single week. One thing that is pretty clear is that ChatGPT, like AI search, all of the AI search platforms, for now work very similar in a way that Google used to work like ten years ago, like something like that. Right now, it seems like mentions, backlinks, and just general visibility of a personal brand is what impacts AI search the most. So, if you are mentioned in a lot of articles, if you have some kind of PR, if you have a podcast, if you have videos, if you have backlinks to your website, if you have like a strong social media presence, all of these things seem to influence AI because right now it's very simple. It kind of looks at who is mentioned the most and then basically shows that person on AI search. This is how Google used to work when it didn't have this like complex algorithms. It used to look at backlinks and basically just rank websites based on whoever has the most amount of backlinks. So it's like if you have one backlink more than your competitor, you're gonna go sort of above them. Right now, the Google SEO is way more complex than that. It still relies on backlinks. Um, but AI search, it seems to kind of be at least starting in that direction, since we don't really have a lot of controls, a lot of other things that we can do with AI search. So for now, it's all about the mentions, backlinks, and all of that stuff.
That's all very interesting. So we serve this work serves a community of online freelance language service providers, so
Mm-hmm.
translators,
Mm-hmm.
interpreters, copy editors, maybe the odd graphic designer, ghostwriter. What are the biggest mistakes, Benas, you see freelancers make that keep them stuck at below six figures? Because
Mm-hmm.
you've crossed a sort of 8K a month barrier when they're
Mm-hmm.
very good at their craft. Because I meet a lot of freelance translators, and I'm surprised they're not doing better. Part of it is AI. Most of us are doing post editing. We're looking at machine output. We're more editors these days. It's unusual
Mm-hmm.
to do translation orders from scratch. It's usually some kind of AI machine generated output. What are the biggest mistakes do you think on both homepage SEO and AI search that online freelancers make in your opinion?
Yeah, I think. From what I've seen, it seems like people don't have a specific niche or a target customer that they work with. So if you
Yeah.
are, for example, a translator, I mean, this is the mistake I've done for several years before I kind of shifted, but you usually work with everyone and anyone, and that's a big mistake because then you don't have a very strong promise and a very like targeted customer that you can actually approach. So if I go in and I see this a freelance translator, and it literally has a title freelance translator, and then I go in and see um, something a lot more specific, like a freelance translator for keynote speakers that to increase their conversions, something along those lines. It's much more appealing to me as a client to go with that than somebody that is doing work for everyone. So niching down and finding the specific problem that you need to solve. So a lot of people then, okay, they have the niche. Okay, I'm going to target e-commerce customers or something like that. But that's also not enough. You need to find what is the exact problem that they have. And instead of just saying, hey, I can translate you the text, which nobody really needs translations per se. They usually are solving some kind of underlying problem with that translation. So you need to kind of approach with the problem first, and you need to have that target customer. I think this is kind of one of the biggest mistakes that people make. If they just do these one like couple of things where they know their target customer and they know their problem that they're solving, they can instantly increase their rates, and they can it becomes a lot easier to actually find clients because you know what you're looking for.
Yeah, I totally agree with niching down. It's basically going deeper, not wider. The
Yeah.
first chapter of the book, little book I published last year, is Niche Your Way to the Top. So it's all about
Hmm.
niching down. And I have a lead magnet based on just that one thing, niching down. Um, so you've very clearly niched down. You work with keynote
Hmm.
speakers, you said earlier.
Hmm.
What were the key decisions that helped you escape a kind of roller coaster feast and famine revenue and turn
Hmm.
random projects into stable, more long-term retainers and growth to get to where you are now?
Yeah. Well, SEO. So this was a bit lucky on my end because SEO in general, that service in itself is kind of a long-term thing. So I went to retainers pretty early on in my career. Although I did sort of start with offering some one-time projects like SEO audit, keyword research, until I kind of realized that nobody really wants SEO audits or keyword research or competitor analysis. They want results. So once I kind of figured that, oh, this is not something that people want, they want other things. Um, I kind of quickly shifted into like I stopped offering any kind of one-time projects, and I shifted into, okay, let me offer you organic traffic growth, and then that requires a retainer. So for me, the shift was pretty quick, and it's because due to the work that I do.
Okay, and finally, let's talk about productivity because one of the things that caught my eye when you sent me your pitch
Hmm.
to come on the podcast was Ali Abdaal's book, Feel Good Productivity. I saw that on your desk in the video.
Hmm.
Somebody I know of. I haven't met him personally, but I know who he is. What kind of productivity tips would you apply to yourself, and what would you recommend our audience do to just to stay productive? I have a kind of personal sort of etiquette. I usually have three tasks in my mind that I have to get done every day. So I don't get distracted on 1 million things. I just have three core tasks. They're usually high value tasks because they generate revenue directly. So it's usually time for money, service provision, or something, this slide deck needs doing for this presentation, or this sales page needs doing. So those are the kind of, I sort of psychologically have three tasks I do that I sort of have to tick off before the end of the day. What is your personal productivity system, and how would you advise our audience on productivity tips?
Yeah, so I've been into productivity for a very long time. It's something that I kind of was very interested. I mean, that's the reason I follow Ali Abdel. I actually met him a couple of times
Oh,
in
wow.
London. We had a chat, and I've read his book. I really like. I love the way he talks about productivity. It's more from like this fun play perspective, which I think not I haven't seen sort of anybody else talk before. It was usually all about the specific strategies, but then for some reason you try to do those strategies and it doesn't really work or stick with you. So that approach of like making something as easy and as playful, it kind of really resonated with me. As for my specific like productivity things, there are like a lot of usual things, like as you mentioned, for example, like writing like top three things that you need to do, high value things that you need to do, so you're not like scattered and doing some random tasks
Yeah.
throughout the day.
Yeah.
There's a whole like calendars, all of that stuff. But I think for me, what helped the most is first of all simplifying things. So I think, especially people who are into productivity, we tend to gravitate towards different strategies, different tools, different like we try Notion, we try Asana, we try like having a bunch of different calendars. So I think first of all we need to stop and see what is the most basic tool that does the job. Because I think some people like have this thing where they are in this productivity cycle where they just switch tools, switch things, but nothing gets done either way. So I think simplifying, at least for me, worked very well. And the second thing, since I work with emails a lot, I discovered this kind of inbox zero strategy, as it's called, as it's sort of dubbed. And I basically turned my email into kind of a mini CRM where everything is labeled. I have tons of automations. I have like three different things like follow-up emails, waiting on somebody. Then I have like saved emails, and my inbox is actually like always clear of any email because there's always an action to be taken whenever some email comes in. And then I have like a
Uh-huh.
lot of subscriptions that are kind of matched by the emails that they come. So I have like communities, companies, newsletters, all of that kind of goes into separate labels. So I'm not distracted. And I, for example, don't have any email notification turned on my phone, since that can be very distracting, especially if you're
Mm.
trying to do some work and stuff like that. So it's only when I open my emails, I see what I have to do. Everything is clearly labeled, and as soon as I get an email, I basically have some shortcut keys which I press, and it goes either to something that I need to do, something that I'm waiting, something that is saved for later, or I snooze that email for the next week if it's not relevant. So for me, email has been the big thing, since this is where my all of my work happens. By simplifying and making it as productive as possible, I think I've saved like hours and hours of time by just implementing that inbox zero strategy.
Mm. Some quick fire questions now, Benas. What's the best business advice you ever received? Have you maybe worked with a mentor, and what's the best business advice you received, or maybe given someone else, a mentee that you've worked with
Hmm.
as a coach?
Good question. Uh, y- Yeah, I remember this one thing. So one of the best uh, business advice I received, and at the time I didn't really understand that until like a couple of years later, probably. But is that uh, previously I used to view clients as not people, if I can say that, like per se, like clients was like a specific project, like a specific task. A client comes in, I do the task for them, and that's it. And I remember a person telling me that clients are also people. That's
Mm.
it. And for me, that changed dramatically the way I now interact with clients. They're no longer clients to me. They're actually people. People have priorities. People have hobbies. People have just life outside work in general. And the way I started sort of interacting, networking, approaching, talking to people like shifted completely. And I think that is what allowed to actually for me to hit those six figures, is because I've changed the way I interact with people. And I think that particular approach was very comfortable for others. And right now, I think this is part of the reason why I get so many referrals. I think people enjoy working with me. I'm
Mm.
not some kind of robotic person. I'm not. I'm just being myself and being real. And although that maybe sounds a bit vague and something like that, but it seems to have worked for me. So that was one of the I think the best advice that I've received.
I think people is very important. I have a little framework called the Bridge Authority Framework, and the R of the bridge is relationships, P2P
Mm,
relationships. So all of this
yeah.
AI, but leaning into human to human connection. What is the first word you think of? Just a quick one word answer. What is the first word you think of for when I say AI search? What is the first thing that could some of the springs into your head when I say AI search?
Personal brand.
Okay,
It,
personal branding. Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm a huge personal brand enthusiast. Yeah, are you seeing more personal brand? Do you think the tendency is very much away from business brand and to personal brand? So even for the big companies like Google, Facebook, Apple, are we looking more at the life of the founder and the vision of the founder rather than the company? I think so. I think the tendency is away from business brand
Yeah,
into
yeah, I
personal
definitely
brand.
agree. For companies, for sure. I mean, especially with AI like being so prominent in our lives, I think
Right.
people will start to crave connection and real people, and will start to crave to get some. Nowadays you can ask anything ChatGPT, but people still like watch YouTube videos for some reason for the exact same content. So it feels like that. Uh, we will always want to feel connection, not just a robot answering us. So building a personal brand, I think it's going to become even more important as time goes on. Not to mention the companies, even just people like for me and you. I think building our personal brand is going to become a very valuable thing as time goes on.
Absolutely. Final question from the final five. What is one productivity tip you kind of abide by daily? What is one thing you sort of apply to your working life daily? Like my three to-do tasks. What is something like that, a framework you get through
Uh,
daily?
yeah. Yeah, I have one thing. It's very simple, but it works for me. So nowadays we have everything like on our laptops, reminders, notes, everything sort of is hidden in some kind of a tab or some kind of a software, and I get lost for some reason whenever sort of I draw something down or I write something down or I have a to-do list. If it's on my laptop, it's gone and I probably can't forget about it. I mean, I'm still using those for like long-term reminders and stuff like that. But for me, every single day, I actually take a pen and paper and write down those three things. Write down the tasks that I need to do, and that paper actually stays on my table until I
Right.
complete those tasks. So it's always visible. Doesn't matter if I turn my laptop off, if I turn the reminders app off. It's the paper still stays on the table, and that helped me a lot. Like just crossing out the things that I do. That's been one of the best things that I still do to this day.
I love that. A friend and colleague of mine, a close friend, would still use paper where he had a multi six figure, well, over six figures, and he was just doing pen and paper on, the research articles translated off, and he would do that for until relatively recently. I think he
Mhm.
still does that actually. Benas, any final sort of key takeaway? We've touched on quite a few topics there. What is one key takeaway from your day to day you'd like the audience to go away with? What is one sort of notable nugget that we've talked about, maybe on AI search or on page SEO, if you
Oh,
like,
mm.
from your experience with working with these keynote speakers? And I'm familiar with that audience, so I'd be interested in sort of one sort of recurring pattern maybe you've seen from working with the same type of clients but different client profiles, but the same sort of pattern. Have you seen something recurring in their challenges as you go through from project to project?
Good question. If it's gonna sound probably a bit more general, but it does apply to my clients and their mindset as well. But for some reason, a lot of people that I meet have a very short-term mindset. They want things done here and now. Uh, and I believe in sort of building something for the long term. So you do the work now that compounds and brings you dividends like in a year, in 2 years' time. So
Mm.
that can be applied to anything. That can be applied for example, with the clients that I work with. That, for example, when I'm sort of helping them with all of the SEO stuff, like part of my reasoning is that the things that we do right now are going to bring you insane leads and results later on, because we're building it like sort of a personal brand. I'm helping them with a YouTube channel, which also helps with SEO, and that SEO also helps with AI search. So the things might not be visible today, like the tasks that you're actually like accomplishing, but it builds the foundation for something much stronger later. And I'm a firm believer of like building something for the long term. A lot of people see like, I need something in 3 months, but what about the next 10 years? Have you like, what do you want? Build something that you're going to be happy with after 10 years, and not just some random project that's going to end in like 2 weeks time.
Yeah, 100%. Benas, where can my listeners connect with you? Where is the best platform to learn about your work and your expertise? Do you have a downloadable freebie somewhere? Is there a lead magnet we can grab hold of? Where is the best place to connect?
To be honest, I think my YouTube channel. Like I share my freelancing journey. I talk about all of the stuff that we talked about here, but in much more detail about like how I freelance, how the mistakes I see other freelancers make. So if you're interested in sort of business, freelancing, entrepreneurship, all of that stuff, my YouTube channel, Benas Leo, Benas Leo, basically is where you can find me.
All right, we'll get a link to that out in the show notes. Okay, let's wrap it up for today's episode of Freelancer Training on how to find more direct clients. Stay tuned for more engaging discussions on the ever-evolving landscape of language and digital marketing. Until next time, remember what I always say, stay on your game and future-proof your career in the AI era. That's all from me, and thank you very much again to my special guest, Benas, on today's episode. Bye for now.
Here's a fun fact about Jason. Jason loves watching Modern Family with his wife and 2 daughters. Thanks for tuning in to the How to Find More Direct Clients Than You Can Poke a Stick At podcast. We'll be back soon. In the meantime, why not head over to www.entrepreneurialtranslator.com to access all our tools and resources to monetize and future-proof your freelance translation business. And don't forget to hit the plus button in Apple Podcasts or iTunes, or subscribe in Spotify to be notified when new episodes drop. For regular tips and insights, business strategy, or marketing techniques straight to your inbox, please sign up at www.entrepreneurialtranslator.com.